Have you ever wondered why Afghanistan, a seemingly remote and rugged nation, is so persistently in the crosshairs of global conflict? To answer this, we must delve into the annals of history, to a time when the heart of Asia was a chessboard for empires. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, Afghanistan became the epicenter of a strategic rivalry that would shape its destiny. This was the era of the Great Game, a term coined to describe the fierce competition between two colossal empires, the British and the Russians. Their objective? Supremacy in Central Asia. Picture this. The British Empire, with its stronghold in India, was wary of the Russian Empire's expansionist ambitions. They feared that the Russians, moving southwards, would threaten their precious jewel, India. Afghanistan, for the British, was the bulwark against Russian encroachment. On the other hand, the Russian Empire, expanding relentlessly across the vast expanse of Central Asia, viewed Afghanistan as a vital outpost in their quest for regional dominance. The result was a tug of war, with Afghanistan caught in the middle, its fate hanging in the balance. This great game was not just about territorial conquest. It was a battle for influence, a struggle for the hearts and minds of the Afghan people. The British and Russians employed every tool at their disposal, from diplomacy and intrigue to outright military intervention, and thus Afghanistan became a geopolitical pivot, a fulcrum upon which the balance of power in Asia would tilt. But the Great Game was not a game for the Afghans. It was a period of turmoil and uncertainty as they grappled with the machinations of powerful empires. Their country became a battlefield, their lives pawn in a larger geopolitical chess game. This historical backdrop sets the stage for the current turmoil that has engulfed Afghanistan. To understand Afghanistan today, we must understand its past. The echoes of the Great Game reverberate in the present, shaping the narrative of conflict and chaos that continues to unfold. The Great Game, it seems, is far from over. Afghanistan's current situation is a complex web, woven by numerous players, both domestic and international. Let's start with the Taliban, a homegrown militant group that has been a key player in Afghanistan since the early 90s. Their strict interpretation of Sharia law and ruthless suppression of dissent has shaped the country's social and political landscape, bringing a reign of fear and oppression. Next, we have Al-Qaeda and ISIS. While the two extremist groups have differing ideologies, they both have had a significant impact on Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda, with its roots in the Afghan resistance against the Soviet Union, has been a destabilizing force for decades. ISIS, on the other hand, is a more recent entrant. Their brutal tactics and global ambitions have added a new layer of complexity to the Afghan crisis. Now let's turn our attention to the international players. China, with its economic prowess and strategic interests, has been increasingly assertive in Afghanistan. It has used its influence to broker peace deals, while also securing its economic interests. Yet its role has often been viewed with suspicion by other regional powers. Pakistan, a neighbor with deep historical and cultural ties to Afghanistan, has been accused of supporting the Taliban and other militant groups. Its complex relationship with Afghanistan has been marked by conflict, cooperation, and a delicate balance of power. India, another regional power, has sought to extend its influence in Afghanistan through aid and development projects. It has aimed to counterbalance Pakistan's influence and secure its strategic interests. However, its role has been complicated by its tense relationship with both Pakistan and China. These players, with their contrasting interests and actions, have contributed to the quagmire that Afghanistan finds itself in today. Their influence has not only shaped the political landscape, but has also had profound impacts on the social and economic fabric of the country. As we delve deeper into the Afghan crisis, we must keep in mind the complex dynamics and power plays that continue to shape the fate of this war-torn nation. But what does all this geopolitical maneuvering mean for the ordinary people of Afghanistan? Well, let's take a hard look at the human cost of these power games. We must acknowledge that the ordinary people of Afghanistan, especially the women and children, are bearing the brunt of this turmoil. For them, life isn't just about surviving. It's about navigating through a labyrinth of harsh realities that they face every day. Imagine, for a moment, being a woman in Afghanistan. The world you inhabit is one where your basic rights are constantly under threat. Education, an essential cornerstone for any society, is often denied to you. The Taliban's oppressive regime has pushed women into the shadows, and the lack of education only serves to deepen this darkness. The potential of half the population is being suppressed, their dreams and aspirations stifled by the forces that be. Now, let's add another layer of complexity to this grim picture: the economic collapse. Afghanistan's economy, already fragile, has been pushed to the brink. The common man struggles to find work, to put food on the table. The country's infrastructure is in shambles, and basic services are a luxury that many cannot afford. This economic instability only fuels the cycle of poverty and hopelessness. And it doesn't stop there. The children, the future of Afghanistan, are caught in the crossfire of this chaos. They grow up witnessing violence, deprivation, and despair. The mental and emotional trauma they experience is immeasurable. Their childhood is stolen from them, replaced with a reality far too harsh for their tender years. It's a grim picture, isn't it? This is the everyday reality for the people of Afghanistan. They are the collateral damage in the geopolitical chess game being played out in their homeland. Their lives, their stories, their struggles often go unnoticed, hidden beneath the headlines that focus on the power players. So, let's not forget that behind the politics, the conflict, the strategies, and the games, there are real people with real lives. These are the individuals who are truly paying the price. It's clear that the people of Afghanistan bear the brunt of these geopolitical machinations. The fallout of the Afghan crisis isn't contained within its borders. It spills over, creating a ripple effect in neighboring countries. The refugee crisis is a glaring testament to this fact. For decades, Afghanistan's neighbors, particularly Pakistan, have been hosts to a significant number of Afghan refugees. This has been due to a multitude of factors, including the prolonged conflict, economic instability, and a lack of essential services in Afghanistan. Pakistan has been a sanctuary for these distressed souls, offering them a place of relative safety and stability. However, this relationship is not without its challenges. Hosting refugees on such a large scale has put a strain on Pakistan's resources, often leading to tensions and conflicts. Recently, Pakistan announced a decision that sent shockwaves through the refugee community. They decided to send the Afghan refugees back, citing economic constraints and security concerns. This is a decision fraught with implications. For the refugees, it means being thrust back into a country still reeling from conflict and instability. A country where education is a luxury, where women are oppressed, where the economy is on the brink of collapse. For Pakistan, it means dealing with the potential backlash of a disgruntled refugee population and the diplomatic fallout from the international community. The challenges are numerous and complex. For one, there's the issue of logistics. How do you coordinate the return of hundreds of thousands of people, ensuring their safety and dignity? Then there's the question of their reintegration into Afghan society. How will they be accommodated given the current state of affairs in Afghanistan? What about their rights and protections? And let's not forget about the children. Many of them were born in Pakistan and have never set foot in Afghanistan. They are, in a sense, caught between two worlds, neither of which seems to want them. The refugee crisis is an often overlooked but critical aspect of the Afghan situation. It's a crisis that reminds us that the Afghan problem isn't just about politics or power games. It's about people, their lives, their hopes, their dreams. And it's about time we start seeing it that way. So, what have we learned about the situation in Afghanistan? To begin with, we've explored the historical context, the so-called Great Game in the heart of Asia. We've delved into a complex web of geopolitical interests, with Afghanistan at its epicenter, a land rich in culture and history, yet scarred by conflict and strife. The players in this game are numerous and their impacts varied. We've discussed the roles of different groups, from the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS, to the involvement of regional powers like Pakistan, China, and India. Each player, with their unique interests and agendas, contributes to the intricate puzzle that is the Afghan quagmire. We've also confronted the harsh reality of the human cost. The suffering of women, the lack of education, and the economic collapse paint a grim picture of a society under siege. The echoes of war reverberate not only in the loss of human lives, but also in the loss of human potential. Then we've turned our focus to the refugee crisis, the displacement of millions of Afghans fleeing violence and seeking refuge in neighboring countries, most notably Pakistan. Yet even in refuge, they face challenges and hardships, from discrimination to forced repatriation. It's important to remember that this isn't a story about abstract political concepts or faceless entities. It's about people. It's about their hopes, their dreams, their struggles, and their resilience. It's about understanding that beneath every statistic, there's a human story waiting to be told. The Afghan quagmire is a stark reminder of how the actions of a few can impact the lives of many. It's a testament to the fact that the ripples of a single decision can cross borders and affect generations. In understanding the Afghan crisis, we begin to see the interconnectedness of global politics and the profound impact they have on the lives of ordinary people.